take a while. And this is how you come down.
Alright, here we go. Yesterday was a bit of a fail and a handful of things I wanted to knock off. Whatever, today's a new day. Today's a new day. Now, no ranting. People. More people. Here comes Adventure Doggy. Now, excuse me. No farting around. Getting right to it. I believe these are fairly recent. One's going to make sense. I always check the recents. Sure enough, this will make sense because we heard... Okay, hold on. This is follow-up on the video titled Sasquatch Stole My Kill, I think, about the man who lost a deer. He sent a quick update. In my experience, I said that I went back to hunt the spot where my, quote, mother, end quote, went missing. That's right. The word mother was supposed to be doe. My apologies. She's alive and well. I proofread the email several times before I hit send. That was one hell of a typo to miss. Yeah, that was a good one. Thanks for the clarification, because that was a big question mark for me. It's like, huh? What? Where your mother went missing? Nonchalantly. Anyway, about my deer. Right? Thanks, man. Gotcha. Shared. Everybody knows. Alright, now what do we got here? Okay, here we go. Mark this as red. This is titled, You Ain't Heard Nothing Yet, E. Hello, Steve. Trying Proton Mail for the first time on your suggestion. I've sent you prior messages of the same subject matter, only for those messages to disappear on my end. No indication of sent email in my sent messages box. Very curious. I have no confidence they'd even receive them. Maybe I'm paranoid, but it's happened a few times. Now trying again with Proton Mail. It's kind of weird. I've heard about a handful of people over the years say the same thing. I haven't experienced anything like that myself. In August 2020, I was in Michigan's Upper Peninsula for a little camping trip. A waitress from the small town breakfast diner told me that she had seen a Sasquatch once upon a time, and it was huge, she said. All black and huge. As this subject is one of study for me, I had to go there. I just had to see for myself where she said this sighting happened. As I approached the area, just outside of town, I began to see structures made from sticks next to the road I was driving in on. One turned into 2, and 2 turned into 4, and I ultimately discovered the largest concentration of stick structures I've ever encountered since becoming a student of this phenomenon in 2016. There were dozens of them. Teepees, wigwams, and lean-tos of various sizes, shapes, and profiles, all unique despite their similarities. When I find a stick structure in the woods, I will often leave a digital voice recorder at the base of these structures. I selected 2 structures in this particular wallow, left them there for only one night, and came away with some absolutely mind-blowing, mind-bending vocals, actual speech. The vocals captured in this clip were captured right after I left their wallow. Their eyes were on me all the while I was poking around their communal space. I felt them at the time, and this audio confirms it. It was recorded right after I left. As I'm limited to 25 megabytes for attachments, this is the only one I can send at this time. I've been studying vocals like these and others for 5 years now, both in the wilds and in the suburbs of southeast Lower Michigan. You can fairly say that I'm a student of the Sabe people's language, vocal modalities, they have many, and other mysteries in the woods. My current thinking is that their very existence affirms the biblical narrative of the Old Testament regarding races of giants. I believe they are extant remnant populations of the giants of the OT, maybe more. I believe their very existence challenges, to the nth degree, the theory of evolution. Chew on that, you ignorant scientists, LOL. Anyway, I sure hope this reaches you. It's up to you whether or not you wish to share it with your audience. I'll be grateful should you do so, because people gotta know. Totally okay to use my name, James Lady. I don't give a rip about what others believe behind their own willful, arrogant ignorance. I have proof of the realities and mysteries that are real in the woods, and I have tales of adventure beyond my wildest boyhood dreams. This I cherish. Best to you and yours. May God continue to bless you in abundance. Peace be with you, brother James. Okay, man. Quick note for me at the bottom. Gotcha. Now, let's see if I can pull this up in my inbox and play it on the speakers in here, alright? Or maybe I can load it in the... Hold on, just give me a second, you guys, and I'll, we'll get this going. I haven't heard anything. I'll hear it. We'll hear it together in a second. Alright, let's hear it. Here we go. Odd sound. One more time. There you go. Yeah, I don't know, man. To me, it's a bunch of some weird snarls and stuff. I can't decipher a language in there myself or words. That's just me, though. I'm a fairly simple dude. But you see, you have a whole pile of stuff. There's probably going to be somebody here really interested in hearing that, so if you want to share more through me, you're more than welcome. That sound to me, it didn't make me go, holy shit. Not that I don't need that. I don't need anybody. I don't need to have that reaction from anybody's share. I'm just saying, for me personally, it didn't really do a whole lot for me. But I haven't been listening to the sounds that you've been accumulating for some time, right? Somebody's gonna have a listen to that, and they're gonna go, "I've heard that too," or they're gonna add to it. And if you got more you want to share, man, let it rip. All right, there's a shit pile of hungry people here looking for knowledge. All right, what do we got here? Mark, this is red. This is titled Life-Changing Info for All. That's a title that gets my attention. Steve, my name is Steve as well. I watch your videos since you began enlightening the people that choose to awaken. I'm fairly certain that we share the same stance on 99.9% of what the hell is happening in the world today. I never thought I would sound like my father, but I do. Thank you for all you do. I honestly have no idea how you have time to fit it all in and do such a great job. I don't either, but thank you for the kind words. A little about my background. I'm 50 years old, work as a firefighter / critical care EMT. I also have a small masonry side business. I don't believe a frickin' thing that mainstream media / government tells us. It's all lies. And the fake ass moon landing to 911, to the jab to Maui, or to any of this other happy horse shit they try to tell us. My story isn't anything amazing or new, but a story to tell just the same. But more importantly, I want to get the message out that Fenbendazole. Fenbendazole is an anti-parasitic given to all zoo animals. All zoo animals for intestinal parasites. That's Fenbendazole. Why this is important? Because it also has been shown to kill cancer. Cancer at any stage. I'm not saying this is the cure, but for anyone interested, do a Google search on it. And also search for a guy named Joe Tippin and his testimony. This may hopefully save many lives and help put a stop to the criminal big pharma machine. I pray that this reaches enough people in time to make a difference. Not another soul needs to die a terrible death with so many lives needlessly heartbroken while the medical community financially rapes and poisons us all. Rotten evil bastards. Fenbendazole, or fenbendazole. Probably bendazole, right? It's the real deal and readily available at most tractor supplies and farming stores. There you go. You never know. When the shit's been going on today, I would not doubt it. Once people started taking it, they'll probably gong it, just like they did ivermectin, an award-winning drug, and they made it illegal to purchase here in Canada when COVID hit. How amazing in your face was that? Pricks. Now my story. This happened Memorial Day weekend 2022. You have a camp in the New York State Adirondacks, just off the first lake, Fulton Chain Lakes. It was actually that Monday night. Most everyone that was in our immediate area had left that afternoon. We had Tuesday off, so we stayed the extra night. No other camps were occupied. Our camp is situated about a quarter mile off the lake and on a short road that circles back around itself, Seneca Road. Our camp has nothing but densely wooded area in front of it and other camps in the area, but not crowded by any means. The fire pit faces the road in front of the camp. What we heard was just before midnight. My buddy Jeff and I were still up having a few drinks by the fire. Not stupid drunk either, we were just bullshitting and having some laughs. We then hear 3 distinct entities from 3 distinct areas. The first being was around 30 to 50 feet in wooded area in front of us, and the other 2 were further away on either side of the first one. It didn't sound like any animal I've ever heard. It was very clear that these 3 beings were conversing intelligently and with purpose. It didn't sound like any ape, coyote, owl, or a loon or anything people would like to say I heard. I know what I heard. It didn't sound like samurai chatter either. It was clear language of some sorts without a doubt. Jeff and I whispered back and forth about what the hell that they could be for a couple of minutes while they chattered and moved through the area. When I got up to get my phone to try to record the vocals, they must have heard me. It all went silent. They moved through the woods almost silently. Pretty eerie, actually. We never had any horrible feelings of panic, but I will definitely say we were quite concerned and on high alert. Of course, I've told this story a few times. Most people think I'm full of shit or blowing it out of proportion. It's easier to believe CNN, I guess. Whatever. They're the same ones that thought the jab is a good idea and think that a simple mask could protect them from a virus. But a fart can still get in. Anyways, thanks again for all you do, and a huge shout out to Dave Pilatus. I've listened to him since he was first on Coast to Coast AM, and his work led me to How to Hunt. It's safe to say shit goes bump in the night, and there's much more to this world and to the soul than we've been led to believe. More than the story. I wanted to get the information out about fenbendazole. I know that good people listen to you and the amazing stories you tell from the people. Good luck. God bless us all. Okay, man. Thank you so much for that tip. All right? And for all you sleuths out there, take it for what you will or leave it. Look into it. Dig into it. See what you come up with. See what you come up with. For sure. What do we got here? These are all recent, all right? Titled A Possible Explanation for How They Do It. All right. Hi, Steve. My name is Mick Ward. Yes, you can share my name, as I'm too old at this stage of the game to care about what people think of me. I'm 54 years old. First, let me say that I, like you, left school in the mid-'80s to become a commercial fisherman, except I did my fishing out of the port of Grimsby on the east coast of England. I was a commercial fisherman for a few years before I joined the oil rig safety standby rescue ships, where I served in this industry, many sailing abroad ships providing support for North Sea oil rigs. I did this for about 10 years. Anyway, you know as I do that being a commercial fisherman is no joke. It's one of the hardest jobs on earth, and fishermen as a rule don't suffer fools gladly. They're a straight talking, hard-working group of guys. Anyways, I digress. The reason for me emailing you is that I think that I might be able to give a possible explanation for how these beings, the Sasquatch, are able to do some of the things that they do to humans. Things like tagging, and the ability to somehow know what they're thinking and doing. I'm not sure if you or your viewers will have heard this theory before, but here it goes anyway. Alright. Okay, as most people probably know, human beings have an electromagnetic component to them. What I mean by that is that our brain sends tiny electromagnetic signals around the body to get the body to function. Absolutely everything throughout the human body is made to work because of these tiny electromagnetic signals that are sent from the brain. This electromagnetic frequency is known as the personal brainwave signature frequency. This personal brainwave signature frequency is very specific to each of us. It is far more accurate than a fingerprint. We as humans emit this frequency from our bodies all of the time, although we can't see it. It is there, coming from us at all times 24/7, even when we sleep, because, like I said, it is responsible for getting jobs done around our bodies, from making our heart beat to making our eyes blink, through to making us move our limbs, etc. You get the picture. Anyway, I think that the Sasquatch are able to tune into our personal brainwave signature frequency, which is very specific to each of us, and once they tune into our frequency, they are then able to gain access to our whole nervous system, which would mean they are able to see through our eyes, hear what we're hearing, feel what we are feeling, and know what we're thinking. Them, the Sasquatch, have this ability. Having this ability would explain so much of what has gone previously unexplained in the past. I fully understand this theory might be too much for some people to accept, but I think this is well worth giving proper consideration to, as it would explain so much about what has gone previously unexplained before, from people being tagged by these beings where they know exactly where the people are in the wilderness, and even what these people are doing and even thinking, and even knowing what people's emotions are when these beings are messing with them. Now, let me out of this theory. The other day while I was watching one of your latest videos, you mentioned that you were noticing just how much mobile phones and smart devices in general was affecting people. And there was no doubt that people have changed for the worse since the invention of smart devices. This is obvious to see if we look at the state of the world today. It's hard to argue that the world hasn't turned into a total shit show in the last 20 years, and especially over the last 10 years, or since smart devices became available to us all. Well, I think that it is well worth considering that these smart devices that we all have are not quite what they seem. I think that it's worth considering that our smart devices have components inside of them that are capable of tuning into our personal brainwave signature frequency in a similar way that the Sasquatch do, except our smart devices tune into our personal brainwave signature frequency, and then they copy and download and save and store our everything. And when I say our everything, I mean absolutely everything about us. Absolutely everything is copied and downloaded and stored onto supercomputers. And once the AI has done this, once the AI has a digital copy of a person downloaded, it then has an identical digital version of a person downloaded. Once this is achieved, the AI can then send along that person's own personal brainwave signature frequency an identical copy of that person's own thoughts back into that person's brain. And from there, the brain and the person would not be able to differentiate between its own genuine generated thoughts and that of the artificial AI generated thoughts. And so this person would not have a clue that the thoughts that they're having are not in fact their own thoughts. They are in fact totally artificial AI generated thoughts that are totally falsified and fabricated thoughts. And so from there, what you have is a race of human beings that are under total mind control. They are more or less just zombies. And this would explain all the totally insane behavior that we have seen happening across the world today. From insane parents who seem totally okay with having their children taken to be gender reaffirmed, to the equally insane behaviors that we've all seen happening regarding a variety of different topics. All things that people of our generation have found ourselves saying at one time or another, this is crazy, and it wouldn't have happened back in our day. Again, I fully realize that this theory is going to be too much for some people to accept or even give proper consideration to. But I think that it has to be worth considering. And if this theory does have any grounds for consideration, then we would have to wonder how many people are actually proper people and how many people are just mind-controlled zombies. It's a scary thought to consider. But I really do think we, that are still real, live, proper human beings, really have to give serious thought to before the zombie drones of this world take us to an even more deeper and darker place than we are already. Anyway, Steve, I hope I managed to get all that across to you and your viewers in a way that they can understand. I'm sorry about this being such a long email, but as you can see, there is rather a lot that I wanted to get across to you. I've been wanting to write this and send it for some time now, but now I've done it, and I'm really glad that I have. Thanks, Steve, for all you've done and all of what you continue to do. It really is appreciated and needed. People like you and me and many others are a rare and dying breed these days. Thank you for everything, Steve. Nice one, mate. Cheers, Mick. Mick, appreciate you sending that in, and your wheels are spinning, buddy. And a lot of that is not new to me. My ears, my eyes. On that note, Sarah noted to me just recently that, just closing all these screens here, that flip phones are becoming very popular again. They're selling a lot, becoming very popular again, and potentially just for the reasons you just mentioned. And I was listening to a tech thing a little while ago. I can't repeat it word for word, but the tech world was explaining how some restaurants' advertisements are using AI to manipulate our minds and our thoughts and reactions. So it's not far-fetched at all. It's probably the truth, right? It's very real. And these iPhones, these devices, I think I first noticed the mesmerizing part of these things when I was seeing kids. A lot of my friends, young kids in there, remember the iPad? Kids were stuck to those iPads like, just like a horse to a bucket of oats, right? Horses, that's just me and my simple way of relating. Horse just cannot say no to a bucket of oats, no matter how abused they are, where they're going to get taken, what they got to carry on their back. It doesn't matter. You pull out the oats, they're coming for it. Nothing else matters. I remember being a little alarmed watching and seeing the pattern of the reactions of these tiny children, 2 years old, 3 years old and up, glued to an iPad like a zombie. And I remember thinking to myself, wow, they really nailed it with this one. They really figured this one out for the humans. They nailed it. And coincidentally, I was one of the very last of the people in my circles to get an iPhone. And I mean, I was last. Got to the point, it was, where were we? I'll never forget this. We were in Alaska. A friend of mine from Alabama, very successful dude. And we went on this hunt, and he was so frustrated with me having a flip phone. We actually took a cab because we were waiting for weather to break to get a bush plane ride out of Anchorage, I think. Yeah, it was out of Anchorage. And I remember he's like, come on, we're jumping in a cab. We're going to go get you a proper phone. because I would not give in and get an iPhone. I just didn't see the value in it. I just didn't need it. But I did notice at that time there's a lot of people I knew that were just like staring at it, right? Anyway, there's a lot of alarming shit going on. Mind-boggling shit in our faces. I find the past little while I've been getting quite frustrated with it myself, like really frustrated. You know, it's easy to get frustrated, vent to all the people that are worthy of listening, you know, copy and paste things online, social media, and say, hey, look at this, F you, Trudeau, and etc., etc. Excuse me, but I find myself this past week being very, very frustrated to the point of I'm almost ready to pull the trigger and try to make a difference. I'm really considering it. What am I going to do? I don't know. I haven't had time to look into it, but it's kind of like I've decided when I decide to do something, I do it, and I don't stop no matter what grief it causes me. Kind of like when I decided and I said, I'm going to get every single voice heard. Eventually, I'll get them heard. And just because I said it, I'm in. I can't back out of it now. Said I'm going to do it, I'm going to do it. And it's the same frame of mind I'm almost toying with. Why? It's just a bunch of stuff going on. I know a lot of people are so easily manipulated by the mainstream word. It's very alarming. Pertains to what this man just shared with us today. It's very, very alarming. One thing that really, really upset me this past few days, and I'm going to share this, just a quick tidbit, all right? It's about the war over there. I think there's something like 400,000 Ukrainians that died. 400,000 Ukrainians have died, all right? Now listen to this. Way back in the beginning, few hundred thousand lives earlier, they had a peace agreement ready to sign. Ready to sign. This is admitted by the Ukrainian government members. This is not a conspiracy. This is fact. You can look into it. All I'm going to say is the point I'm making out, I'm not trying to lash out on anybody. I'm just saying who started. The fact of the matter is 400,000 lives ago, they could have chose peace and discussed peace. Instead, the Western governments made them stop, made them fight, and said, we're not talking to anybody about peace. All right? Now that's a fact. Now, here's the upsetting part. The criminal that's running my country has given that criminal running that country, the Ukraine, possibly, I think, around $1.4 billion. Okay? Now, well, hear me out before you start freaking out. Just listen to me. The little midget in the Ukraine, while 400,000 Ukrainians have died, recently purchased $75 million worth of yachts. Look into it. It's fact. Amongst other things, his wife was followed by some Ukrainian reporters as she spent literally hundreds of thousands of dollars on bags and jewelry in Paris. He has also bought numerous condos and expensive homes around the globe. Okay? Now listen to this. Our criminal leader, he makes $373,000 a year. He's worth $100 million. He's just a drama teacher before this. All right? So, do you think there's a strong possibility some of these Western leaders are funneling all this money to a little criminal like that little Zelensky prick, and they're getting big kickbacks? All right? This war was not winnable from the beginning. Was not winnable. Impossible. Everybody knew this. If you listen to any military career analyst, honest person, they've shared the same things at the very beginning. They've said exactly what's going to happen, and it's happened. The fact I'm getting at is, wouldn't you be a little bit pissed if all the males in your family were absolutely annihilated, and the person that sent them to their demise just recently went out and bought $75 million worth of yachts? Who the fuck does that? I don't give a shit who caused, whose fault, who's guilty, who's innocent. I don't care. If you're leading a country that has lost 400,000 lives and you decide it's time to go spend $75 million on a couple of yachts, what? Meanwhile, the world goes like this. Window licking. Right? And that's really upset me lately. That's really upset me. I don't give a It's not. I'm not arguing the point of who started it, what's going on. I know the whole story. I've listened to it. I've dug myself. I don't need to talk about it here. The only point I'm trying to get across is that there is criminals in every single frickin' country right now running us, the people, into the ground and killing us, and they're benefiting from it. It's very, very frustrating to watch and just sit on my thumbs and not do shit about it. I don't know what to do. I would love to be able to try to fix it, do something. You know, you got a uneducated, silver spoon-fed criminal running so-called leader of a country like we do in Canada, Nazi Canada right now. And he's making $373,000. And he's worth $100 million all of a sudden. And he's shipped out $1.4 billion of our money out to another country, and all of a sudden he's worth $100 million. Where'd that come from? Right? You know, partying on a yacht with some little midget murderer? Anyway, sorry for the rant. No, I'm not sorry. Somebody's got to say this shit. Don't react. Don't emotionally react. Don't trigger. All right? Don't trigger. Think. Think and look and think for yourself and look what's really going on. All right? Look at what's really going on. It's very, very upsetting and frustrating. And I've had enough. I have had enough. Now, I guess I was kind of triggered in a way to go on that rant, right? All right, what's this one? It's a short one. Marked as red. This title: Just pose you a question. Hello again. After all I've heard or read of these creatures, it seems to me that they seem to prefer to be left alone and in isolation. So my question would be, if they knew of your efforts and every other YouTube channel are bringing so much attention to their existence / presence, would they be more or less angry or content considering they seem to have a certain amount of intelligence? Again, I do enjoy watching and seeing all the real footage as well as the shares from so many film. I don't know, man. I haven't a clue. I don't know. I think I haven't a clue. I do not believe they are surfing the internet myself. I think whatever it is they're doing, they've got it nailed. They're just waiting us out to do what we do to ourselves, I'm guessing. Wherever they're coming from. I don't know. Don't know. Now, who's next? Okay, let's title this. This is titled Michigan Unusualness. Long moves along fast. It might move along fast, but I might not. I'm a little slow at times. Hi, Steve. Hello, and all who are listening. You can use my name. I am Donna Morgan of Indian River, Michigan. This is going to be long, but I'll try to keep it on track. First off, thank you for having this avenue to be able to share with others of all our experiences. Knowledge eliminates fear. Originally from Connecticut, I've traveled extensively and lived in various different states, but was always of the belief that Bigfoot / Sasquatch only lived in the northwest corner of the U.S. and up in deep woods of Canada. When I moved to Indian River, Michigan, that belief was crushed. It took some years, but I couldn't ignore the facts and events anymore. See, Steve, I think you have listeners that are also ignoring facts or in denial that have one of these people or a clan of them in their woods. The signs are there. Maybe by telling mine will help them. Here it goes. Thing recording? Yep. I moved to Indian River, Michigan, 40 miles south of Mackinac Bridge in July 2000. In the summer of 2001, I found what looked like human barefoot prints in a dirt path going through our backwoods leading to a field. I wear a man-sized 9 shoe, about the same size as the prints. Definitely not bare. Very odd place for someone to be going barefoot in my private property woods and leaving such noticeable footprints in semi-hard dirt moss path. Head scratcher for sure. We worked shifts that we would get home after 10 p.m. Had 3 dogs, a Rottweiler, a Brittany Spaniel, and a mutt in nice huge outdoor fenced backyard, basically 100 feet long by 40 feet wide, running along the backside of our house, then into the woods. With 3 dog houses for them, it was a wonderful tree and bush area, open with areas so they were in luxury. I was the first to come home in late evening. There were times when the dogs would all be up against the driveway gate of the dog pen and they were quiet. No happy barking or a tail wagging greeting me. These were usually odd nights of unusual, nasty, putrid smell in the air, not skunk, and it seemed the woods were quiet. My hubby told me that the nasty smell was bear, or at least that's what he'd been told since he was a boy by his dad. I doubted it was bear. Those nights, all 3 dogs would sleep together in a big dog house by the house side door. Usually they would sleep separately in their own houses. I spent a lot of time hiking our 40-plus acres of mature wooded property, packing a small backpack with essentials for note-taking, camera, water bottle, sandwich, binoculars, etc. I love being in the woods. We butted up against our phantom neighbor's 80-plus acres of untouched mature woods with no structures. Had permission to walk, but not hunt his property, so my hikes would normally bring me onto his property too. I would disappear into the woods for 3 to 5 hours, walking the woods, just taking it all in. In the autumn of 2001, I experienced primal fear on the neighbor's property. Steve, I don't have fear. I was 40 at the time, and in my mid-30s, educated myself to everything that gave me fear, such as snakes, certain insects, certain sounds or noises. I was not going to go through life scared or fearful of things and situations I could control. Back to autumn of 2001, and now experiencing primal fear while hiking on private property, mature woods. In the afternoon, maybe 3 p.m., something had been following me for a bit. I could hear footfalls behind me as I walked. I stopped, it stopped. I sprinted ahead, it kept pace with me. What the heck would do this? Not coyote that I knew of. Most wildlife goes away from us humans in the woods. Walking slowly forward, now heading in the direction of the dirt road to get out of the woods, I heard a second set of footfalls to my other side. Uh-oh, 2 somethings paralleling me. Was still keeping my cool as my brain raced with thoughts of what animal would do this, and in a pair, when wham, primal fear hits me hard. Almost brought me to my knees. I wanted to bawl and pee in my pants at the same time. Unbelievable how extreme my intense fear suddenly was. I wanted to be a helicopter and fly straight up into the sky to immediately get out of those woods. It took me a minute, but my training from my mid-30s kicked in and I got my calm back fast. Now I was pissed. How dare something try to give me such fear? Now I wanted to know what it was, but my common sense wisdom overruled my brain and said, get the hell out of these woods now. So I walked backwards as best I could the rest of the way until I could see the dirt road behind me. I wanted to see if something appeared in the underbrush all around me to reveal what 2 somethings were paralleling me, which they did unseen until I got to the dirt road. Never have I experienced something like that, nor ever again. Late spring, early summer 2004, early afternoon, we were in our east woods building an archer's platform for me to hunt from, white-tailed deer, with some odd things happening. Small pebbles will land near us on the ground. Where in the middle of the woods does a pebble drop down from? We summed it up to ravens and blue jays or squirrels dropping them, but our friend Davy, he spent 8 years in prison, who was helping us, kept getting an uneasy feeling. He kept snapping his head around, swearing that someone was watching us. Stated he didn't like being in that part of our woods. Late winter. I wonder what the prison mentioned, I wonder why you mentioned that. If that was significant to something with him sensing, I don't know. Late winter 2005, February, March, early to mid-afternoon. I was roared at by something that I have no clue what it was. I've been going through a very serious medical situation and had gone out in my favorite mucklucks to my favorite spot in the woods where my archer's platform is to sit on one of the big granite boulders and bawl, scream, and yell out my pent-up emotions and be rid of them like a cleansing. I know I was yelling loud, low tones and high tones. No one's there, so I was safe to yell and be as loud as I wanted to be. There was no snow on the ground. Sorry, there was snow on the ground, about a foot. What do you expect in northern Michigan at that time of year, eh? When leaving, as I passed a certain section of woods, almost getting to the beginning of Eastfield, something made me stop in my tracks, like instinct. Then the most loudest, long roar was directed at me from the hemlock hatch spot down the ravine on the other side of the brook. Steve, I could feel it vibrate my rib cage. I swear my wispy flyaway hairs around my face blew backwards from their percussion force in the bellow roar that lasted maybe 7 to 10 seconds, which seemed like forever. It was a mix of a lion, an elephant, a T-Rex, a bear, vocalizing all at once. Stunned, I'm wondering if any of my neighbors had heard this. They had to. This is like Indy 500 snake pit loud. Mind racing. Not dog/canine, not bear, definitely not a deer, and definitely not human. And then I get pissed. Who or what the hell thinks it can roar at me like that of my property? So I let another bellow yell back at its direction. I'd just been doing exactly this moments before on the boulder. I went to the top of the ravine, looking around at the mature hemlocks down there and the snow for any telltale signs of tracks in the snow. Nothing that I could see. When I told my hubby about it later, he was clueless as to what I heard. He said it was probably someone's dog. Nope. No, I've never been roared at again. As the years go forward, there are numerous more, quote, events/things, end quote, that happen that I'm still clueless about. What is creating these sounds, noises, baseball bat, home run cracks, seconds apart in different directions, banging on metal stakes, or leaving visual evidence of unusualness and oddness that I cannot explain. What's up with roosters crowing at 1 a.m., 3 a.m. in different directions, and no one has chickens at this time in the neighborhood? By spring 2011, it's becoming obvious to me that there is something unknown in our woods, and I'm going to find out what it is come hell or high water, by George. So, I buy a digital recorder, small handheld, $50, and put it in a north-facing house window held in place by the window screen, and start recording sounds in the dark hours. It's amazing what all goes on in the woods during those hours. We are hearing unusual noises through our open bedroom window sleeping at night. Things we cannot identify, but now, with the recorder working, it's documented for me to research. Talking to others in my area, no one has an explanation for the odd sound/noises. Nighthawk was the most common named culprit. What nighthawk? If I couldn't answer, show me in a field guidebook. Just nighthawk. April 2012. We've been hearing something similar to that roar, but nowhere as loud and not as intense, and at a bit of a distance, probably where my Archer's platform and Eastfield area are. That area in later years is labeled the hot zone. It was a co-worker of all people when I did playback on my record to him, asking him if he had ever heard this in the woods. That said Bigfoot. I read that kind of shitty. Let me read that sentence again. It was a co-worker, of all people, when I did playback on my recorder to him, asking him if he had ever heard this in his woods. That said Bigfoot. Wow, you recorded a Bigfoot. What? There ain't no Bigfoot in Michigan. They're only in Washington/Oregon in northern Canada. All these years of oddness and unusualness, and not once, honestly, did Sasquatch ever come into my mind as a possibility. I was blinded to my belief that they only lived in a particular area of North America, and the rest of us were safe from them. Wrong. I've had that recording go to the Olympic Bigfoot group that have audio specialists who vetted that recording as highly suspicious, meaning most likely a Sasquatch vocalization. Plus, I've had numerous recordings vetted by them since then. Yes, Sasquatch's presence escalates after 2012, and currently in 2023, no sighting, but plenty of unusualness. Steve, maybe this will help one of your listeners to come to the realization that maybe they've been experiencing things like I did, or a lot of years not even thinking it could be a Sasquatch, and help them get an answer to all that weird stuff. Keep up the good work of letting our voices be heard, Steve. Thank you for sharing your precious time with all of us, Donna. All right, Donna, gotcha. It's funny. I don't know. Everybody's gonna do what they do, looking for answers. But me, it's just for me personally. I don't give a group of anybody the power of deciding something for me. I've learned for me is you deliver everything you got to the people, and you canvass the people, and you see how many different people have witnessed the same thing. You see how many different people around the world have seen the same thing, felt the same thing, and then you realize for yourself it is a pattern, what it relates to, what it could be, all the other details combined from all the other people experiencing this, and then you learn, and you learn what's truth, instead of, like I said previously, the past, everybody, don't give one person and don't give one group of people that position to tell you. If that makes any sense. You know what I mean? I can't think of one person or a group of individuals at this stage of the game that I myself would absolutely submit to instead of myself, instead of my own mind. Go, here, can you guys tell me what this is? Oh, okay, thanks. And I'm not being insulting to you, I'm just saying how my brain works and what I suggest, and what I suggest for other people. It's just a different angle for the people to look at things from. You know what I mean? But anyway, Michigan, if you've been here for any amount of time now, you know Michigan is probably one of the more popular states for having a lot of these odd occurrences going down, right? Pennsylvania, Michigan, upstate New York, Ohio. I could start rattling off all the states and provinces, right? But these sightings, these experiences are going on around the world. Around the world. Now, my mind's racing. I gotta get moving. I have to create something today with somebody, which is probably going to bump up our knowledge base way up in one go. I have to get on that and carry on with a bunch of other items. Now, fully off topic, side note, I had the neck meat of that last great big buck that I harvested. It's all rutted up, meaning mating season, when typically people don't think they're very good to eat. And Sarah canned it in glass jars the other day with a bunch of garlic in there, a little bit of steak spice, I think, a little bit of salt and pepper, something. And we cracked it open yesterday. She's freaking out. She's like, you gotta get me another deer. That is the best. It's possibly the #1 most delicious way to eat that game meat. I swear on my life. Sarah was freaked right out. She never had it. I had it before. I encouraged her to do it. And I said, you wait, you're gonna love it. Now she's freaking right out. 3 jars of that meat are gone. And we only got done the day before yesterday. And we only have, well, she managed 16 jars of that. And I still have a deer tag, and the deer season's open here until December 10th. So I might take you guys with me and go explore a certain area that I found earlier, and hopefully nothing weird goes on there. I just want to go hunting, leave me alone, and hopefully harvest a deer. Yeah, here I go again, right? Here I go again. I could go back to my previous home and hunt there, but there's no snow. It's a lot tougher there without the snow to drive down out of those big mountains. But here, it's not the case. They're here. I just gotta go find them. That's a bit of a babble, but anyway, if I do manage to harvest a deer in the next couple days, if I can get out, once I get my stuff done, we're gonna can the whole thing. And maybe I'll videotape it and show you guys how to do it, because I'm telling you right now, it is absolutely mind-bending delicious. She did it 19 minutes in the pressure cooker at 12 pounds. 9 minutes, 19 minutes, 12 pounds, glass jars with the diced up neck meat from that big buck I just got. Good God, it's so delicious. So there you go. Share my story at howtohunt.com is where you're going to get it all heard word for word. All right? So you got something, anything that's going to help somebody here, help somebody in your community that you feel may be here listening, help you, get it over here to me. Get it to me and share it, all right? Because I need the help. I need all the knowledge I can get. I need all the true knowledge from as many different people as I can reach out to. I need that knowledge from all the people. That's the only place I get my knowledge from. That's it. Aside from my own eyes and ears, out in the real world, I get all of my knowledge from you, the people, my fellow people, my fellow honest human beings in the world. So there you go. Sarah's sale, I think, continues. Yeah, Sarah's sale continues at the How to Hunt store. Link in the bottom. There you go. Email me. I'll be back.